guys. 19 of you got back to me about what you wanted to get out of this session, which is brilliant. I couldn't have asked for more, really. But I just wanted to make sure that you all know what you're getting from this session in particular, and what you're getting in all the other sessions pretty much, because a lot of you are asking for different things. Get rid of that. A lot of you are asking for different things. So today, particularly, we're going to be looking at on-page SEO basics, some tips to improve your content that are going to come from those basics, and how to get on social and build a community where you can learn more about what we're talking about today. I'm not going to be talking about things like what converts and what doesn't. I can't cover that in 30 minutes. I'm going to struggle to cover what we've got on the agenda today in 30 minutes, time allowing. So we're just going to look at the basics today. I'm not going to jump into writing craft today. So if you're looking at how to write better, that's going to come later. And I'm not looking at what engages and what doesn't as a whole today. I'm going to be covering small things on kind of optimization, but I'm not going to tell you how to write better for engagement today. Those things are going to come later. Sessions 2, 3, and 4 are going to be packed full even of those kind of useful hints and tips. I promise you guys. So do sign up for those if you haven't already, because I will be covering all of these things. But I just wanted to make sure you know what you're getting out of today, so it's as useful as possible. And if you can give me all of the 30 minutes today before we do the Q&A, brilliant. If you can't, I will make these resources available afterwards as well. So feel free to jump in, jump out as you choose. Okay, so we've got a couple more people in. We're going to kick off with the content now. So first of all, content writer or copywriter. Is there a difference? Does it matter? Should you care? Well, they're not the same discipline, but they can be achieved by the same writer. So it's always important to remember this, because if you're looking for a content or copywriter, you're going to find lots of people giving themselves lots of different titles. So think of it this way. Content is all the stuff that should be on your website. Okay, so your sales pages, your homepage, your blogs, whatever. It should be there. Copy are all the words that sell those things. So if you're running ads, people are going to say, do you write ad copy? They're not going to say, do you write ad content? So there's small differences, but they can make a big difference. And when you're connecting with people or looking for new people in this space, it's just good to know that they're probably going to have those small differences. If somebody says they're a content writer, they can probably do both, as can a copywriter. But you'd never ask someone to write ad content. You'd ask them to write ad copy, because copy sells, content should be there. Just thought that was a good kind of definition to clear up, and hopefully that makes sense. So let's get into it, guys. The page basics for SEO. So the very first thing you should know is that there are page titles and meta descriptions. These are the kind of ranking factors that Google are going to first see, I should say, all search engines are going to see from your page. So when you type in a search term into a search engine, so I've gone for digital marketing agency in Essex, you're going to get a list of 10 results per page. Here you can see the footprint one I've used as an example to show you what needs to go into this section, so the title and the meta description, to make it optimized. So your title, you have up to 70 characters. And for the meta description, you have up to 160 characters. If you go over that, Google's going to truncate it. So it's just going to stop it. Now, as you can see in the option I've shown you there, it actually truncates our one, even though it's within the limit. And it's because I've typed in digital marketing agency Essex, it's only shown me the section of that title that is most relevant to my search. Sorry, I just bashed the mic there. It's most relevant to my search. If I typed in make more money online, I'm going to see that whole title. Now, I use an app called Systrix. I've popped the link down there. If you're creating your own page titles and meta descriptions and can't be bothered to count the characters, or you're not using Word, then just go in there and it does it all for you. It's brilliant. Now, I'm not going to be talking about keyword research today, but if you are going to be conducting keyword research, which you should be for your pages for optimization, Google AdWords is the free option, the most used option probably. If you're looking for paid options, there's SEMrush, Ahrefs, Keyword Keg, etc. They're all going to give you something slightly different, something slightly more or less in depth, etc. So I'm not going to be talking about keyword research. If you've got any questions on that, though, do fire them over. But that's just kind of a side note of what we're looking at today. So continuing on these page titles and meta descriptions, because there's more than just a character limit to these. Page titles are a ranking factor. If your page title is bad, then the page subsequently will rank poorly. This is one thing you need to concentrate on a lot. So think about it like this. Your page title should include your primary keywords. So in this case, digital marketing agency, London, Essex, there are primary keywords for the homepage, and any extra service that you want to add in there. Those are generally going to be on your kind of service or product pages. Then we like to use a pipe or a dash, and then you put your company name or your brand slogan. The reason that we always do this is uniformity. It looks good and it helps your brand related search on Google. So for example, if somebody was to type in footprint digital, they should be getting firstly our homepage and then a list of our other pages, because we've got that brand name in the second part of our page titles consistently across our site. Separate your keywords, as I've just said before. One thing to note though is if you put commas in your title, it will separate the keywords, which means Google will see them as separate searches, so it will break them apart. So if I was to have digital marketing agency, comma, London, Essex, the result might be slightly different because it's broken up those keywords. In this case, because it's location based, probably not so much. But if you're to be breaking up products and services, my disk is almost full, guys, then it is going to make a difference. Now, your meta description is not a ranking factor, but it is a click-through factor. So once you get those list of 10 results, the only things that's going to make you change your mind about which one you click is the page title and the meta description. If the meta description has more things of interest in there, you're more likely to click through. So basically, the better it's written, the more likely they're going to click through. Also, keywords that you've searched for, so in this case, digital marketing agency, London and Essex, will come up in bold. You can see that here with the search, that digital marketing agency has come up in bold. So when you're writing your meta descriptions, remember you've got 160 characters, including spaces. You need to put in keywords, a USP, so your unique selling point, what makes you different from everybody else, a service or anxiety that you could address, and then a call to action. Now, you're not always going to be able to fit all of these things in their entirety, but always try and address them where you can. So in our one, for example, you've got digital marketing agency is the keyword, help you make more money online is service and anxiety address, and then we've got a call to action. We haven't got a USP in that one specifically, but in other pages we do. So try and mix and match and make these as good as you can. I'm going to be shooting my head between screens just to check that nobody's got any questions. We look good so far. Let me know if I'm talking too fast or anything as well. My nose is slightly blocked as well because of hay fever. So, if you want to call me annoying, you can. Let's move on to the next slide. So let's look at URLs and document layout now. Keep an eye on the time as well. So this one's pretty simple. Here's a good URL. I'm going to be using footprint examples the whole way through. Sorry about that, but it makes sense. So in a good URL, you have the home domain. Then in this case, we've got a site section and then the service. So the key elements really of a good URL is that it makes sense. It breaks down the pages that you're traveling to. You've got the correct keywords in there, and people are going to be able to find and remember it more simply. So let's look at an opposing URL that you do find on some sites. So a bad example would be the home domain with a series of numbers, exclamation marks, question marks, hashtags, whatever else. One, this is not memorable, which does make a difference. Two, it's much longer, and Google does tend to rank shorter URLs higher. And it's totally random. Now, you might see URLs like this if there's a tracking code in there, in which case that's a different story altogether. But if you're creating the URLs on your CMS, your content management system, like WordPress, you should be able to edit these and make them as good as possible. Make them keyword bound and just make them simple and make sense, like the above example there. Okay. So let's talk about document layout now. So you might have heard of document layout if you're making a Word document or if you're making a Google Doc. It's basically your headings, your page headings. Thoughts on URLs with dashes? I'm just going to come back to that in because Toby's asked. URLs with dashes in, absolutely fine. They're absolutely fine. If you've got a series of words in there, for example, a blog, you probably should be having dashes in between those. So if you were going to have, for example, footprintdigital.co.uk/news/what makes on page great, I would be putting dashes in between each of those keywords. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Cool. Right, so document layout, like I was saying, on Word, on Google Documents, it's your titles. It's how you break down the page. And the way Google sees your page is a bunch of words, a bunch of code, more technically. And in that code are all the headings, all the paragraphs, everything on your page, the images, whatever else. Google wants to skim your page and understand what's on it. It doesn't want to read the whole thing. It will, but it will skim your page and rank it accordingly. And equally, your user should be able to skim your page through your headings and know if this is the page they want to get to or not. If they can't do that, then the page is letting them down a little bit. So think of it like this. I've got the SEO page for Footprint as an example again. Here's our document layout. You've got your H1s, your heading ones, your most important heading. They should have your primary keywords in there. They should be getting the search term in there that the users asked for. And there should only be one. Only one H1. If there's any more than one H1, it's going to be confusing the search engine. Your H2s are going to reflect your initial keyword choices, and they're going to be guiding the user through that page. Imagine it's an article and you want someone to skim that article and understand everything that's on it. And then your H3s are going to be of diminishing value. So they're going to be of less importance. They're going to be your minor subtitles, and they're going to be breaking down subsections. They may or may not have keywords in them. Kind of keywords are more important at the top end than they are at the bottom end. So here you can quite see, this isn't the whole page, by the way, but you can quite clearly see how we've broken down our headings with the H1 at the top, the H2 with the 3s underneath. All of them have kind of got some varies of the keywords in there or variants. And it's obvious to Google what this page is about. And because it's obvious to Google, it's going to show it in the search results. And then the user is going to know, obviously, what this page is about because it's got it as a top 10 result. If you're clicking through to a top 10 result page and you're getting this bit wrong, the user's just going to come straight off. And it's highly likely that everybody's getting it wrong. Otherwise, you wouldn't be ranking in the top 10. So document layout, super, super important. It's something you can quite easily combat and get right. Awesome. Let's move on from this, guys. We're doing well on time. We've got about 10 more minutes. So I'm going to speed up slightly. So an optimized page then, what does it include? We'll have put some of these, I'll have talked about some of these things already. It puts the user first. Ultimately, you've got to please the search engine, but the user should be coming before the search engine. If your user isn't the first person you're considering with the writing on your page, even the technical aspects like the page title, if they're not first in line, then you're getting it wrong. But you've got to remember that it's got to appeal to search engines as well, which can sometimes be really annoying. If you're writing page copy and you think, this is a great title, it sums us up completely, but then you realize there's no keywords in there at all or no subject-specific terms, and you've got to rethink it. So I've got a list here, guys. I'm not going to read through all of them because I hate reading off of presentations, but I'm going to pop a few of them down. We've already talked about a couple of these. I'm going to look at the ones that we haven't talked about a little bit. We're going to cover all of these in the next section anyway when I show you how to put this into practice. So clear calls to action as well. If your page doesn't have a goal, it doesn't have a call to action, then people just are not going to be making their next stage in the journey. One big mistake we see at Footprint is people have excellently written service pages or product pages, more service pages though than product, and there's no next step. There's nowhere that we go next. And then we scroll all the way to the bottom, which most people don't do, and you see a contact form. This is a next step, but it's not great. What you want to do is get that all done at the top, get them drawn in and get them clicking through as soon as you can, as soon as you've given them the information they need, get them clicking through. And I'm going to show you that on the next page. Get some hyperlinks on there to other relevant and important pages or sources. That's always great. Google loves to see your website interacting with each other, internal links. It builds like a hierarchy of importance with your home page at the top, and it connects all the other pages. So where you can, drop in another product, drop in another service, drop in an article that's relevant. Google loves that, and the user loves that. Originality. Now, this basically means don't have 5 pages that are the same. If you have pages that are the same and they have the same content on there, then Google's not going to know which one to rank. Okay, and if Google doesn't know which one to rank, it's just not going to rank any. It's not likely going to rank any. Okay, so make sure that as much of your page content is original as possible. If you've got things like FAQs that you put on most pages, or you've got reviews that you put on most pages, that's fine, because Google's going to recognize that. But if you're starting the page with the same content as you are another 3 pages, then Google's not going to get that, and it's probably going to devalue and de-rank those pages. Word count. Now, we recommend a minimum of 350 words per page. This is kind of a golden number thrown around by other content and copywriters. And in a blog post, we'd recommend a minimum of 500 words, but there's so many caveats to this, and it varies so much. You'll see product pages rank and they've got maybe 50 words. It's more about the page power than it is about the words, but keep it relevant. And once you feel like you've written enough so the user is going to understand and be able to make a choice, then you've written enough words. If you're fluffing the page, as in you're just putting words on there for the sake of hitting a word count, just don't. Stop. You're doing it wrong. Delete those words and only have the most important ones there. Okay. So I shot through that a little bit. Hopefully that all makes sense. I'll obviously be taking questions at the end. Let's move on. Oh, I just said that. Caveats to this. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to show you kind of like a breakdown of our SEO page now here to show you how these things interact. So you can see there in the top left, you've got the optimized page title. Once you've clicked through from the search engine, that only shows in the snippet at the top, okay, in the tab. That's where it's going to show. That's the technical aspect of the page. Underneath that, you've got your friendly URL. At the top of the page, you've got your optimized H1. So we've got search engine optimization in there, obviously, which is our target keyword for this page. And then underneath this, we've got this is the whole hook section. So you've got dispersed subject-specific keywords. So a lot of people think that you have to keyword stuff to make a page effective. You don't anymore. So long as your copy or your content has relevant subject keywords in there, Google is going to look at your page title at the top, look at your H1s and your headings, and realize that all of that content is relevant to what's on the page. So I've put organic search rankings as a keyword. It's not a target keyword for the page, but it is going to make Google understand that this whole page fits into search engine optimization, which is of good benefit to us and of massive benefit to the user. Because if they clicked through here and found cake for sale, they would have just bounced straight off unless they were hungry and needed a snack. And then we've got our call to action straight away. See pricing, contact the experts. So this initial hook section does a great job of being very clear, of being minimal, and getting a click through straight away. So if they've typed in search engine optimization, it's likely they kind of know what they're looking for and they just want to take a next step. We know that, so we give them a few small paragraphs of information that's going to put them in the picture. It's a jungle out there, stay ahead of the pack. We kind of know what we're doing. And then we've got some very specific statistics there. 2-year engagement with us, 144% increase in organic traffic. And having that kind of skewed, not even number, like 100% or 200%, makes it better. I mean, this is obviously straight from data. If you can pull things straight from data or straight from other statistics that you have and it pulls that little odd number out, it's great. Okay, it works really well. And straight away we've hooked them in here. Okay, they know what they're getting from this page and they have the option straight away to click through. Okay. Now you get to the line section. So I'm going to give you a hook, line, sinker kind of page layout. Not that we want to deceive anyone, which is kind of what the phrase originally means, but I just find that it's a good way of kind of balancing out that page. You've got the hook at the top, then the line, then the sinker. So the line section of this page, we give details, we give facts, we give features. Okay. So the top of the page is to hook people in, give them a bit of a story, give them your best selling stuff, call to action, and then what you want to do is explain everything. Okay, so if you've got a really technical product, like you're selling refurbished Cisco equipment or something along those lines, hook them in at the start, tell them they can order it, and then give them all the specs and the technicalities further down the page. And you're still going to be making sure that you've got your clear document structure here, and you've got your keywords naturally dispersed. You're not stuffing them ever. You're naturally dispersing them through the page, and your document structure is helping both the user and the search engine. And then once you get to the sinker section of the page, I haven't highlighted anything here because you should be able to see we've still got our subject specific keywords here. And that's not really what this section is about. We've got the optimization features in here, but actually the sinker section of the page is where you can give them more stats, you can give them social proof, you can give them reviews, anything along those lines that are going to make people, if they get to that section of your page because they're really thinking about it, go, oh yeah, actually, you know what? Now I'm going to go back to the top and do that click through, or I'm going to contact, or I'm going to leave a message, or whatever options you're giving your users. So that's the way I would look at your page. Think of it as a hook, line, and sinker. Start with your strongest stuff. Make sure your optimization is strongest at the top. Get to your line section. Keep your clear document layout, dispersing keywords, giving people the information and the details they're looking for, and then sync them with stats, social proof, and telling them how great you are. And if you want to, mix it up. But that's generally the structure that we like to take. So that kind of completes the really quick run through of the on-page SEO basics. We've got a couple of more things to cover. I know I've only got 2 more minutes until we're on half past. Here are some really great resources for you guys. So don't just take my word that these things work. Loads of people say these things work. Got some great influencers here. Brian Dean, if you've got some time, he writes really long, extensive guides, but he gives you all the facts and statistics from his own successful site. So you can see exactly how he's built it, exactly what has worked. And he's a brilliant resource. Sorry, just to hit the mic again. Marie Haynes is fantastic if you like your technical stuff. She's done some brilliant stuff recently on EAT, expertise, authority, and trust. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. But she's really good at the technical side of SEO content. And then you've got the SEM rushes, the Ahrefs. All of these places are really brilliant for just building knowledge. And they have really clear starter guides and then really difficult advanced guides. But they've got it all there. They've got it all there. So this brings us on to the last few sections, which I'm just going to blast through, guys. But I think they're really important if you're just starting out writing for digital. And even if you're in a business who you're looking after a website and you already are writing for digital, you should be on social media. And the reason you should be there is because so many experts are there and willing to share with you what they do on a daily basis. It's a gold mine. And it's why you should be looking out of maybe your current sphere to be kind of getting other people in and understanding what it is that they do on a day-to-day basis. There we go, got some posts come through there. So yeah, get on social, guys. And I'm going to tell you why. I mean, get on there and have a look for SEO content writers, copywriting experts, and follow them. Send them a message, converse with them. They're not there purely to sell. They're there to give you hints and tips. And, you know, if you're contacting them and you're reaching out to them, you're going to be getting their tips on a daily basis, I guarantee you, and it might just change what you're writing. So many things that I now put into practice, I've learned through reading from social media what other experts are doing, because they share everything that they do on a day-to-day basis, and they share all of their knowledge from courses, etc., etc. It's going to benefit you 100% to be there, guys. And if you are on social media already, share your own stuff. Post and engage regularly. If you want to set time aside for it, up to 3 times a day on most platforms, more if you're on Twitter and you can keep up with all of that, share your experience and insights, and comment on other people's stuff. Just because you're not a copywriter doesn't mean you can't contact them and answer one of their posts and give them insights from your sphere. It's going to benefit both of you massively to learn these things, and you can both put different things into practice. Now, I told you I'm not going to tell you how to write on social today. That is true. I'm not, but I just want to give you an example of things that are being shared. This is an example from me, but trust me, loads of other people are doing this. So this is how I would structure a Facebook or LinkedIn post. Again, I've got the hook, line, and sinker ideas in there, getting your reader's attention grabbed at the top, easy to read information, and then hitting them with a call to action at the end. If you know who your audiences are, or if you want people to respond specifically, tag them, ask them for a response, and then make sure you're hashtagging the relevant areas so the right people are seeing what you are posting. And again, that doesn't mean if you're an accountant or you're in finance, that doesn't mean you can't post with a hashtag for content and SEO. I mean, why shouldn't it? You're going to reach new people, you're going to reach a different audience. And if that's the kind of insight you want, ask for it and find the people in the search bar who do that stuff and connect with them. Okay? I mean, I think that this is really important. I think that social media is brilliant for this, and you're just going to get a different outlook on your business sphere as well, especially if you find someone who specializes in your area. So get on social is definitely something I would suggest. And if you're starting out new as a writer, you should 100% be there finding other people to connect with. Last bit, guys, I've gone 2 minutes over, my apologies. Last little bits. I only have 3 tips for building a portfolio because there was only a couple of people here that really wanted this information. And I only really have 3 tips for you because building a portfolio is hard. And if you're not working regularly, it's harder. So if you're starting to do it, here are some of the things I suggest you do. Build a website and try all of this stuff out yourself. Try all of the optimization stuff I've just given you as an example. In the later sessions when I talk about writing style and what works and what doesn't, try that stuff out as well. See what works for you. Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, all easy content management systems for you to get on with a small monthly sign-up price. Get on there and build a website. Looks a lot better than a CV in my point of view, from my point of view. Find sites with existing poor pages and try and improve them. Then add those to your portfolio. Local businesses are brilliant for this. Get on Google Maps, type in a business area that you're interested in, or just go to your town centre, and then go through the websites of all those local businesses. I guarantee a large amount of those will not be optimized, and they will definitely benefit from having more differentiated content. So update it yourself, improve those pages, pop those in your portfolios. If you want, even reach out to those website hosts and say, look, I've seen this on one of your pages. Did you know it could be optimized if you did A, B, C? You might even land yourself a little bit of work there. But add those things to your portfolio, 100%. And then lastly, sites like Upwork and Freelancer are kind of hosting sites where people pitch for lots of different work and people go to offer freelancers work. These can be a real rat race, I'm not going to lie, and it can sometimes be a bit of a race to the bottom in terms of pricing. But if you're just starting out and you're looking to build your portfolio, then get on there and pitch for some work. I did, and it was slow going, but you can easily do this on the side of a normal job. Get on there, pitch some work and do some proper stuff, get a little bit of money as well. And these are all great things you can do to start your portfolio. And that's it for my 3 tips there, guys. And that does bring us to the end of today's session. I really hope it's been useful to you. I was really conscious of the vast array of comments that I got, which I was really thankful for, by the way, of what people wanted out of these sessions. I really want to make sure that you get, your time's worth. I know time is valuable. So in 30 minutes, I really want to make sure that you're getting the best out of this. Always, I'm up for feedback. I've popped my contact details on LinkedIn and Twitter, and I've got the Twitter hashtag if you wanted to continue this conversation. Do reach out and contact me. Endorse me if you feel like you can. It would be great. On LinkedIn, criticize me if you thought it was rubbish, because I'm happy to take those kind of things on the chin. It's all about constant improvement. But, reach out and talk to me after this. That would be great. So the next sessions, if you haven't signed up, I've popped them in there. I promise you that we'll be talking more about writing craft and what works and what doesn't. And if you're writing for a brand, I'm going to be talking about specific brand writing. So how you can build that brand and how you can be creating much better content internally and externally. That's going to be in session 2. In session 3, avoid how to write shite or avoid writing shite. Basically, a lot of content you'll see out there, especially in business to business, is bad. It uses the same terrible, worn-out cliches and terms that mean nothing. And it starts with talking about me. And there's loads of stuff to improve your craft that are going to benefit you in session 3. So that's all about craft and the nitty-gritty. And then in session 4, I'm going to talk about brand storytelling. We're going to look at people like Nike who do it fantastically. And we're going to look at how we can do that in our own businesses and as copy and content writers. So anyway, that's a bit of a snippet there. I have gone over ever so slightly, so apologies for that. Thank you so much, Sophie. I'm glad that was a good session for you. Like I said, really happy for you guys to reach out. Now, we got some time. I put in an hour for this on my calendar, so I can stick around for a little bit. Feel free to drop out when you need to. I'm going to do some Q&A now. If anybody's got any questions, you're welcome, Jordan. Thank you very much. Just going to end sharing this and we're going to do some questions, guys. So if you have a question, do shoot it over and I can answer it. Otherwise, it's been great to see you. I'll just hang around for a second. Thanks for coming, Toby. I'll see you soon. Got a couple of people typing there, so I'm just going to okay. You're welcome. I look forward to seeing you in the next session. Right, great. So I've got a question here from Debbie. I want to see if I can get that in my little question thing here. Okay, here we go. So a question from Debbie is, you mentioned minimum word count. Is there a maximum word count for pages? Short answer, no. There's no maximum word count. It very much depends on the page. If you're writing a blog or article, the ones that rank highest are anywhere up to 10,000 words for the most in-depth articles. If you're writing a product, home or service page, again, no, I wouldn't say that there's a maximum word count here. I would say you're getting to maximum if you're running out of things to say. If you're repeating content or if it's going overboard and you don't think the user's going to be interested anymore, I would say you've gone over your word count. But in terms of optimization and what the search engine thinks, no, there's no maximum word count for a page. Hopefully that answers your question, Debbie, and thank you very much for it. Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to attempt to pronounce your name, Sanaz. I'm glad you found it useful. And do pull me up if I pronounce that wrong, because I probably did. Okay, good. You're welcome, Debbie. I'm glad that was useful for you. Still got a couple people typing here, guys. Shanaz. Oh, okay, brilliant. I used to work with a Shanaz when I was a teacher. Okay, got a question here from Jordan. Let's see if I can publish this one. Would you recommend same word count and less fluff for portfolio sites? That is a good question. So if you're building your portfolio, I would say that do what you think is right for optimization. So regardless of whether it's for your portfolio or not, you write what you know is right there. Because ultimately, when somebody looks at your portfolio and they're reading it, they don't want to see masses and masses and masses of content. What they want to see is the right content for the right audience. And if you can show them that in what you've written, as well as having it optimized, I don't think they can ask for any more. If they shoot back and they say, oh, you've only done 200 words for my homepage, why is that? Then answer them. Give them the knowledge that you've gained. Well, 200 words is more than enough in my point of view to optimize this page and to give the user what they need to carry on their journey and convert. Anything more in there that you thought I should add? Okay, so have that always as a kind of, be ready to throw that question back. If you know what you've done is right, then put it in the portfolio. I wouldn't be adding any extra words to that portfolio because you think that extra words makes you look better, because it doesn't. At university it might have, but it doesn't now. Okay, it doesn't for businesses. What matters to them is that you're going to be writing something quality that's going to get a customer or client to convert. That's all that matters. Hopefully that helped, Jordan. Hopefully that's kind of what you were looking for there. Awesome. Right. Excellent, guys. So we've got a couple of people that have dropped out now. It's looking to come to the end. I don't think there are any more questions initially from you guys. So that just leaves it to me to say thank you very much for all coming. I'll look at this screen, so it looks like I'm looking at all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you found it useful. Sign up to the next sessions if you're interested, of course. Add me on social media. I'd love to talk and continue the conversation. Any questions you got there, use the hashtag for Twitter if you would like. And otherwise, I will see you next week at the same time. Thank you very much, guys.